Chris, wouldst thou like a taste of Coors Light?
Fine, Coors Light not be any sort of beer. Away from here.
So why are you guys talking like this?
Because we just saw The Witch.
All right, well, welcome back to a second look. We are going to talk about the movie The Witch. It's Halloween, Bill.
Yep, great time.
Great time of the year. Great holiday. My favorite holiday.
We also have a little, I think, a kinship here in that I know you appreciate horror movies, a good horror movie.
I do.
We talked about this in our list of top 10 horror movies, but what do you seek out in a good horror movie?
What I found interesting is that a lot of people were really disappointed with this movie when they first saw it in the theaters because what they imagined a horror movie to be, this didn't really live up to. Didn't have the jump scares, didn't have, some creature in the woods that was clear and present, but it was more of a sort of classic horror tale.
More based on, folklore.
What's interesting is there's a folklore piece to it. They call it, I think, a New England folktale or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But there's also an aspect of Greek tragedy to it because it's about the downfall of a family.
The father's hubris.
Exactly, his arrogance, which then is tied into the, Puritan movement of the late 16th, early 17th century, gets brought into this Greek idea of hubris and the downfall.
We should probably mention that these guys are both history majors and teachers. Some of them might even be teachers over here. So you guys are probably really quickly going, oh, this movie's around this time frame.
Knowing this is early days of the Massachusetts Bay Colony.
Yeah, so somewhere 1630s, 1640s, something like that, maybe,
and
or earlier.
The way I think that the reason that they're exiled is that it's becoming a little bit more commercial at this point. It's a little bit more secular.
Where exactly were they? Is the community that they're at in the very beginning?
Salem.
Is it Salem? Do we assume?
Probably some village like that. I mean, it's a walled village. They show them the gate closing at one point and then being exiled. Yeah, I love that shot too.
Iroquois or some other tribe is walking into the...
And the idea of being exiled at this time was, a really dangerous sort of terrifying thing because, survival was based on your relationship with the community and stuff like that.
And there is the belief that, outside of civilization is devilry.
Right, because paganism was all based on nature worship. Yeah. So anything seen as nature worship, which is seen in this movie, is definitely pagan and therefore tied to the devil.
So how about we first just really quickly cover the makers of the movie and the acting, the cast of this movie. Robert Eggers.
His first film.
He went on to do The Lighthouse, which some of us like more than others.
I like that movie.
He did The Northman,
which I also like a lot.
Right, I like it.
And then right in time for Christmas, I think, was Nosferatu.
Yes, a movie about vampires and pestilence and sexual liberation comes out right on Christmas Day. I thought that was such a great idea.
Right, and it's it's a really hard story to tell well. It's hard not to just fall back into the tropes of Bela Lugosi, and I think he did a really great job.
What I liked about that, how the plague is such a big theme in that movie. Mm-hmm. Just the whole look of it, too. Yeah. He's really great at period detail and period dialogue, which we'll really get into with this movie.
We're definitely going to talk a little bit about the dialect in this one.
I love thee marvellous well. But 'tis God alone, not man, what knows who is the son of Abraham and who is not.
The dialogue might have turned people off initially, too, because you really have to pay attention to this movie.
I could see that. I could see people being like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah, exactly. They so much of it is coming in with expectations.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of blew me away. I loved it so much because I was expecting just another cheesy, scary witch movie in the woods. And it wasn't that.
And it's a level of authenticity that elevates the story, the film.
One of my favorite scenes, actually, is when they first choose their ground. There seems to be a certain fate built into it, because amazingly, they choose the one spot in front of that gray tree that will be seen a number of times. It's sort of distinct. I love how they show all the bugs and gnats, all around their face, because anyone who's ever been to the woods knows these idyllic scenes are actually, you go out to the woods in the summer and you're getting attacked by gnats and mosquitoes. And a regular Hollywood movie would just cut that out and put it on a stage. But the fact that they're showing the greasiness, the hand-sewn clothes and the bugs all around.
And I love that in the background is the woods.
You're right.
Which
constantly is like a vista in the back.
They're what Bill's talking, that scene where they see where they're going to live is a spot of land.
Right.
But the whole backdrop is the woods.
And if the woods holds evil, it's like the threat is right there.
Right in your backyard.
Yeah, they're right on the periphery of evil.
I think, first of all, the cast is perfect in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best cast films I've ever seen.
There's only one show I remember seeing Ralph Ineson before this movie.
We mentioned that in our top 10 horror movie video. He was, of course, Finchy on The Office.
Lie down there, love. Well, you know what it's like. One up the bum, no harm done.
He is so good as the dad.
Dispose of me how thou wilt. Yet redeem my children.
He is incredibly religious, an extreme end of it, I guess.
And like most extremists, he turns out to be a hypocrite to a certain degree.
He lies to his wife and his daughter.
Yeah.
Puts his daughter in for blame that shit he's done.
He seems tormented.
He's very... See, I think...
They all seem tormented.
Right.
He especially... If he was living now, he would be diagnosed with some sort of mental illness.
I think he'd be an extreme, Fox News watcher. You know what I mean? Like,
He totally would,
He's a kind of angry guy.
Yes.
And he thinks everyone's, excuse my French, full of shit. You know what I mean? Even other,
even though he's
hard right Christians, right? They're not Christian enough. They're not MAGA enough. And so he calls them out on that, and that's what leads to his exile.
I was thinking Oscar worthy when I first saw it. I know horror movies don't.
The whole family, Kate Dickey, who plays his wife.
Yeah.
Also named Kate. She's fantastic.
So let's talk about her. So where have I seen her?
She was in The Last Jedi. She played General Hutz's monitor, whatever that means.
I think she has a lot of stage credits, though.
She does,
in England. And I love how they decide not to choose well-known names, at least not well-known in America.
That's very true. A cast that you don't necessarily... Oh, there's George Clooney.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's the one thing that I don't like about The Norseman.
You want
Nicole Kidman.
Yes, Nicole Kidman. That's a great...
She takes you out of it, especially with her like plastic surgery face.
So with this, I felt like I was transported.
Right.
Yeah.
Show me mercy. Show me that light.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
This is her debut, I think, right?
I think it was her debut, and now I think a lot of people know who she is. The Queen's Gambit movies,
She's in
like
The Last Night in Soho, which was Edgar Wright's most recent film.
And by the way, I think she was amazing in this.
Yeah, overall, they're all really great. I think, actually, the one that sticks out to me the most is Harvey Scrimshaw.
If I die this day,
What is this?
I ought evil in my heart. My sins are not pardoned.
Thou art youngly yet.
And if God will not hear my prayer,
Caleb.
tell me.
That scene where he's about to die, when he's sort of having this
Yes. That's
ephemeral moment, and he's kind of lifting up, that's really hard to do.
That's like Daniel Day-Lewis level of acting.
Right, because it could easily be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can I just say, the witch, the young witch, when the witch presents herself as a young woman.
Is she a succubus at that point?
Yeah, I think she is. And my goodness, can I just say?
I'm right there with you.
Right, she's an attractive woman.
I agree with Bill that I think that he might be the standout kid. The twins.
Perfectly cast.
I mean,
they're annoying as shit.
Right.
They're witch!
Right.
And just the way they're dressed, they look like little adults.
Right.
In his clothing.
They have a good relationship. Like when they're sort of playing and, the father admonishes or the mother about like, leave her alone. She likes it. You know what I mean? They're just bored kids out in the woods that, make their own fun by driving each other crazy.
We should also say special guest star, the Black Goat.
Played performance by Black Phillip.
And I actually read some bit about the making of the movie. And supposedly Robert Eggers really searched high and low for the right goat and found this large, aggressive male. And supposedly, not surprisingly though, it was really hard to deal with and actually caused a lot of problems on set. Just moving it around because it's, big, strong beast.
Speaking of the animals, just little things like the rabbit.
Yeah, the rabbit looks, there's the way that it's shot for
it's just a rabbit.
Yeah.
But with its ears, it looks demonic.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Then shall you be banished from this plantation's liberties?
I would be glad on it.
Should we dive into the plot real quick?
Sure.
Right from the get-go, they're on, I don't know if I want to call it a trial. I guess it's a trial.
So, yeah.
They're
It's
being
some sort of
judged.
tribunal.
Right.
Do we know specifically why they were being banished? Like,
It's not specifically stated, but we know that he's too extreme for the colony.
He says, I cannot be judged by false Christians. So at this time, there was this real sort of, not just in America, but in Europe as well, there's, bloodshed from the wars of religion between Protestants and Catholics. And there is this idea of what is the true Christian? Who is the true Christian? What does it mean to be? And so they're constantly judging each other and fellow Christians about who's living up to the ideal. Modern parlance, there's this idea of going back to like the father's the head of the household. There are some extremists today that even talk about like women not voting, that it should be one vote for a household. Yeah. And you see the danger of like an unstable man has full control of a family, right? And they have no power to do anything. If he says we're leaving, that's it.
They have to leave, At one point, the wife is like at her wit's end, and she just wants to go back to England.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a great introduction to him. It's a great introduction to the family. They're being banished.
I don't know, but I love the shot of like that pathetic overloaded cart when they're riding. It's just looks like it could tip over at any second.
So it's horrible to ride in. One thing I noticed about this movie, it doesn't waste time.
No. The disappearance of the child, the baby,
happens
within the first, 10, 15 minutes?
Boom!
Sam?
Samuel!
Great scene.
And terrifying scene. It's kind of like every parent's worst nightmare. That all of a sudden your baby, this tiny, fragile thing that you poured all your love, just disappears like that.
They segue immediately into one of the creepiest witch scenes. They don't waste any time showing you the evil.
What they're doing with the baby.
Can we describe it?
I'm actually even surprised they got away with it. Really clearly implying the slaughter, you know what I mean? And turning a baby into chum.
Mush.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then bathing. Is that a good word to describe
Bathing
what the
blood.
witch is doing next?
They bathe in baby's blood, and that's how they got their power. At this time, you imagine the infant mortality rate was enormous.
Yeah.
Right? Just, if you have a little baby that just dies, which happened,
common.
blaming it on witchcraft was, I think, not rational, but understandable to a really upset parent.
I mean,
Because they would have no other way to explain it.
Right. How was my baby fine yesterday and dead today?
and if you told me that there were some people in the theater that walked out after the baby bathing scene,
Right.
blood bathing, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I would be like, oh, I can understand some people not wanting to be in the theater for that.
Right, terrifying in a very different way than modern horror movies, where instead, you expect like the big booby blonde to be, hacked, and that, in the American mindset, that's fine. Big booby blondes can die because they're, drinking with their boyfriend and having sex, and their slaughter is kind of acceptable. But a baby, a Christian baby,
Was this rated R, I'm guessing?
Yes, I think so.
There's no real graphic violence.
No.
And the way that it's shot, still, like, you don't see any violence towards the baby, but it's all implied.
It is rated R. Disturbing, violent content and graphic nudity.
Graphic.
There's not graphic. Well, I mean, maybe at the end.
Yeah, but even
it's
then you
all in
see
shadow.
Yeah, and her bottom, you don't actually see.
Yeah. There's blood. There's not really any gore.
I think it has to be the baby scene is why it's rated R.
I have to say the music, the first witch scene. You hear these, I guess it's just vocals.
Right.
Very Stanley Kubrick.
From 2001 Space Odyssey. Like
And The Shining, too.
And The Shining a little. The way they did it.
Oh, yeah.
Creepy as hell.
Right, and there's also these discordant sounds. It sounds like a cello or something being played oddly. It's a really interesting, weird, dark, disturbing soundtrack.
Yeah, discordant is the best way to describe it.
The next scene is not them going to look for the baby.
Well, they assumed that the baby was taken by wolves.
Right.
The wolf got the baby. The family's probably also concerned that the baby wasn't baptized and isn't in a great
That's actually
afterlife experience.
that's actually their primary concern. Is the
know.
baby's like soul writhing in hell?
There's despair.
And none of the children are baptized. Anabaptists and the Calvinists and these people didn't believe that children should be baptized. You have to be, a fully formed adult, to make that compact with God and take baptism.
So you have to have like your own agency in the baptism.
Yeah.
So there's the hunting scene with the dad and the son, and there's the introduction of the rabbit. There's a lot of scenes with the husband talking to the wife about
Their plight, basically.
their plight. And
This is, I think, their first harvest coming up.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, and it's going to be a failed harvest.
They actually talk about putting Thomason into indentured servitude
Right.
at one point.
And she hears that.
And then that takes you to a point where even the son the Caleb and Thomason, I think they feel like they need to not tell their parents, but they're going to go on a little journey through the woods to try to help the family. Something's going on with the dog, Fowler.
Right.
Another guest star we forgot to mention.
Right, and Caleb follows the dog, right?
And she
searches for the dog.
She falls off a horse
Yes.
at some point. And so they get separated.
Which means there are 2 instances of Thomason losing a child.
That's
which
right.
Gets, the parents to be more suspicious.
So this brings us to the second witch scene, which I think is one of the best executed moments of the film.
That's very Stanley Kubrick-esque, too.
But I love even the build-up to that when he's lost in the woods, which is,
Scary.
most kids' greatest nightmare. And he's just moving forward, and he sees this house, this little hovel.
It's very Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, and he's moving towards
But almost in a way that he's like in a trance.
Almost. Like he feels just drawn to it.
That's very Shining.
Right.
It reminds me of room 237.
And a beautiful woman in a Red Riding cloak, right? Sort of which
Red
hints
Riding,
hints to fairy tales.
She doesn't waste any time kind of getting close
No,
to Caleb.
she doesn't.
Kissing him.
Right, but the most terrifying thing is then she has the old woman hand.
That's so great.
Later on, there's the apple inside Caleb's mouth. She might be putting the apple into his mouth.
That's interesting.
Might be, a hint towards the Adam and Eve.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
After the baby is taken, we see the witch going through the woods, and I think she's wearing a red cloak.
Is it called The Witch, not Witches, is because it's about the daughter.
Well, if they called it The Witches, they'd probably have to pay some sort of royalty to Roald Dahl.
For what?
I think it implies that there's one witch in the woods. We find out there are multiple, like there's a coven.
Right, but that's not even very far away.
Right? That's not far. And
So
that's
how do we know there
We
aren't multiple?
we actually don't know how deep into the woods it is.
Right. Obviously, it's odd that they chose that, going back to that original choice of the spot right by that dead tree,
Well, I want to revisit this. What could the title exactly refer to? But let's just go on with the plot. So that takes you to the boy is missing. The parents, of course, are distraught again. But he comes back not that late.
Later that night.
I mean, later that night. Not gone a long time.
Right.
In the rain. Naked in the rain.
And he almost looks like a sexual assault victim. He's drugged and laying against, a fence.
There's a great moment coming up where the family is with Caleb. They're going to pray, I guess, but that's where a lot of the family friction really starts.
Well, there seems to be underlying family friction. The twins drive Thomason crazy. There seems to be tension there, particularly between Thomason and the girl twin.
Mercy.
Right.
Mercy.
Right. They don't seem to particularly like each other. And even Mercy says to Thomason, "Mother hates you."
Yeah.
Which implies, it seems like there are family tensions from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And they only get exaggerated and amplified when they're isolated in this little cabin.
But I think the mother does blame Thomason for Samuel the baby's disappearance.
Sure, how could you not?
Damn your Black Phillip.
He said he put the devil in Caleb. That's why he's sick.
Have you mentioned that the goat, Black Phillip, is speaking to them?
According to them.
According to them, yes.
Like the little kids.
Right.
Black Phillip told us you're a witch.
And this idea of being able to speak to animals is very much within the realm of what people thought witches could do. The devil oftentimes came in the form of a he-goat or a tomcat, a big male animal, which goes back to that sort of Greek tragedy.
In the mindset of a child, too, sure, goats can talk.
Right. And, maybe the goat is actually talking. Again, the goat is talking to the kids.
It happens at the end of the movie.
Right. So, if we believe the narrative of the movie, the goat is talking to the children.
Exactly.
And telling the children to break up the family. Blame Thomason, call her a witch, even though she's not.
The apple scene is what's next there. The kid awakens, spits out the apple. He's bewitched.
Like I said, a Daniel Day-Lewis worthy scene delivered by this kid.
It's kind of like an Oscar moment where if they, when you play a reel for the Oscars, you feel like that's what they would show.
But is the death scene where he does that speech before he dies, is it before that scene that the kids are are unable to pray.
I think it's right before he becomes lucid, because then he dies. So they're praying for him.
But they can't speak.
Right, which is another classic trope that when you're bewitched, you can't pray. So that, again, Robert Eggers really did his homework. He pulled in all these classic mythology of witches, and one of them is that when you're bewitched, you can't. If you're near a witch, you can't say your prayers.
But before they lost the ability to pray, they were like, she's a witch, and the dad's like, what say you? You know,
and then they have convulsions and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems to be, like, obviously the dad figures out, one of my favorite scenes, and it's terrifying.
Fetch the billock, wife, and I will smite Jonas as Abraham would have done his seed.
No, stop it!
Fetch the billock, and I will dash his skull.
Do you see?
So they were playing games.
Yeah.
They actually seemingly wanted to get Thomason in trouble.
When they were not able to pray.
I think that was fake. I think they were faking it.
All right.
I think the grand scheme of the whole thing is that Thomason is always the goal for the devil. The devil is using the twins to get to Thomason.
And to break up the family.
Right, that's the only way they're going to get to Thomason.
And there's a great scene that follows, of course. And
There's a great scene.
Great father-daughter scene there. It starts out, you know, kind of touching. You know, they're there, you know, plant a tree over here. And but then suddenly he's like, I've got to figure out whether or not you're a witch.
Be the witch.
Right. But it's his own failure as the head of the household. Because he can't farm. Everything he seems to have done has been a mistake.
But that's when she starts.
Right.
Highlighting those.
Yes.
You are a hypocrite!
Hold thy tongue, daughter mine.
Let's talk about truth.
Let's talk
You're
about
not a really...
Exactly.
You let mother be as thy master. You cannot bring the crops to yield. You cannot hunt. Is that truth enough?
Enough.
Thou canst do nothing save cut wood.
For me, one thing I was trying to figure out in this movie is she slowly becoming a witch, or is it only something that happens at the end that officially says, oh, you just have now officially gone...
I think it happens at the end.
You don't think this is gradual?
No, I think when she signs the book, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
what does
and
it.
any woman can sign the book.
She also wants her own agency, too.
Right.
Like, when she hears that they want to, like, put her up for indentured servitude, she's kind of like, fuck that.
She brings that up, too, yeah.
This is where I think he's completely lost his mind.
But he has that.
But I feel like she's trying to turn him against the kids and not her.
Sure.
She's like, do you see? Do you see? It is them. It's not me. But he's like, enough.
Right, like any father. You know what I mean? There's mayhem, and you look at your kids, and they're all blaming each other.
So let's lock the kids in the barn.
Exactly. Right, which is sort of a go to your, you know what I mean, a little bit.
It is
to an
kind of
extreme.
like that, yeah.
Thompson asks, like, does Black Phillip really speak to you?
But then
Right.
you hear something. They fall asleep.
Terrifying.
Mama?
Can I just mention also the sound design in this movie
Oh, it's
is
great.
amazing.
Right.
Yeah. What's the witchcraft lore history there with why?
Right. Sometimes if people had a third nipple, you know, that's actually a condition that some humans are born with. Like,
like Scaramanga in The Man with the Golden Gun.
okay, there you go. Oftentimes, people that had commune with the devil would have an extra nipple that animals would come and like nurse off of. Like that was a sign. That was like the mark of the devil.
That scene is very creepy. And it's it just brings you to the resolution.
Brings to the ending, yeah.
I have to just sum up as, I wrote down parental bloodbath.
Right.
But more specifically, the dad...
That's what it is, though.
Well, but more specifically, the dad walks out. He almost just looks completely hungover.
Yeah. He's exhausted.
He's just like, what am I looking at?
Right. Right.
It's like the barn's sort of messed up.
Right.
The roof is partly gone.
Dead goats.
Right.
I feel like they're turned inside out practically. Or there's blood, there's
And
intestines.
again, it's implied that, the twins are dead back in there somewhere.
They don't show it. That first goat hit
Yeah, the first one he's like...
punctures like the frickin'...
It breaks his ribs.
I mean, there's blood everywhere.
It's coming out of his mouth.
Corruption. Thou art my father.
And then the mother comes out and she's lost her mind.
That's a jump moment, by the way.
Well, I mean, she's lost her mind, understandably. She's just, she's
Yeah.
seeing the death of her children.
She basically says, like, I see no Jesus or the Lord here anymore.
Right.
Like, she says that to William the night before. And she wants to go back to England. She's basically given up any belief in God.
Well, and then she literally tries to kill her daughter. I mean, she's strangling her.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and she's making good progress until the daughter finally
grabs the knife.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like a spade or something.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
have a question.
Yeah.
Who was more of the religious zealot in the family, William or Kate?
Both.
The father or the mother?
I think they both were. Yeah.
They both. I mean, I think they were equally, religious zealots.
Their extreme religion, very depressing. Like, they're all constantly
It's-
talking about how
It's such a dire view of reality.
I have to languish here in sin and just I deserve hell.
Because you're just
While I'm here.
you're just looking for glory in the afterlife, and everything here is just a constant battle against sin.
But you're hoping for it because what the
Yeah.
father tells Caleb is like, I can't, say whether you're one of the chosen one because
Yeah.
Calvinists believe that, God's already chosen and you don't even know if you're part
might
of the
not be
elect.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm getting is that I think death helped them out a little bit because time actually passes. It goes from day to night.
Well, she goes into the barn and like kind of falls asleep
Right.
because she's just killed her mother and watched her father die.
Right.
So
And the kids are gone.
and the kids are gone.
She's alone.
She takes off her dress and now she's just wearing like her underdress.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Shift.
Her shift.
Her shit.
Yes.
But she just, for some reason, wants to see if Black Phillip can speak.
Right.
Speak as thou dost speak to Jonas and Mercy.
And he doesn't at first.
At first.
What dost thou want?
Next to Mercedes McCambridge's voice in The Exorcist, this might be the best use of a voice
Right.
very
in a
scary.
horror film.
Yeah.
It's perfectly cast voice. I don't know who did it.
Wouldst thou like the taste of butter? A pretty dress? Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Yes.
I love that because it's sort of like, would you like to live in a hedonistic lifestyle where nothing matters but pure physical pleasure?
She doesn't hesitate, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hesitation with her.
Right.
She's
At
got,
all.
She's got nothing left. And
Right.
She might as well do thy
Yeah.
bidding at this point.
And who doesn't like the taste of butter?
Everybody does.
Those are temptations.
Yeah.
The reality we see with these other witches, they just live in this hovel in the
Right.
woods. They
Right.
never see as far as we know, they never see the world. Do they really live?
But they might.
Taste
They might. I mean,
deliciously?
they can levitate.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. And they can shapeshift.
Remove thy shift.
So is the idea that it went from the form of the goat
Yes.
to a
a rider in black.
for a long time, because I've seen this movie like 5 or 6 times, I thought that the goat was just another form a witch was taking. But the goat is like the devil.
Yeah.
This is Satan.
Right. She's signing the book. She's making covenant with Satan.
Where did that
And
book
then-
come from?
Right.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the devilry.
I cannot write my name.
I will guide thy hand.
Music kicks in. It's great.
Yeah.
Elevation, crescendoing kind of gently for a while, and he's leading her,
Right, to the coven.
and maybe one of the best horror movie endings for me.
Right.
It's up there. So I love the fact that when she's watching that, she's not elevated yet.
Right.
They're elevating.
Right.
She starts to laugh.
Yes, maniacally.
She gets more and more giddy.
Yes.
And then
She raises up in a Christ-like pose, and the shadows around her face from you can see her morphing into a witch. She's literally becoming one then.
and they jump down to the bottom to look up. And she's
Yeah.
much higher than you might have thought she
Yeah.
was at the very last
Right.
shot. There it is. Great music completely builds.
Right.
Cut to black.
And the movie. Before we end this, I have to ask you guys again. I think the witch is the daughter
Yes.
becoming a witch. The movie is called The Witch because she has just become a witch.
Right.
Thomason is the titular witch.
I'm not sure about that. That may be true.
You think that there was
there's one witch that seems to be particularly focused in helping the devil break down the family. And that's the witch we see in different forms as the brown rabbit, as the succubus, as the old hag.
But I like that we don't know.
But Black Phillip is the one that's actually psychologically breaking down.
That's the devil.
Right. But
that's
I think,
Satan.
Right. Satan is working with the witch. Satan is working with the twins. To get to Thomason, the family has to fall apart. And the family has to fall apart by the father being exposed to be a total fraud and a hypocrite.
When I saw the witches at the end, I thought, well, what if all of those witches are just around different parts of the woods, and they have been some of these different...
Maybe. I'm glad they don't actually try and explain all that, because that's just totally unnecessary.
Right. Since they established this as being based in folklore, you don't need concrete explanations for it.
Yeah. I should bring this up again, Bill. We had such high expectations going into The Lighthouse.
Yes.
After this movie.
There isn't a movie I've looked forward to more in the past 10 years than The Lighthouse.
And
I was really disappointed.
We were disappointed.
Right.
You on the other hand, like it more.
I really like The Lighthouse.
I saw it a second time, and it went up a little, but it still didn't quite have it.
I disagree with you. I think the acting is great in it.
I think Willem Dafoe, I mentioned, is a little bit the Green Goblin meets Popeye, you know.
Danny! Northman's pretty good, but Nosferatu,
great.
That is his best film since The Witch.
Can I at least say we're probably all excited to see what he does next?
Yes.
He's reached this auteur status like Paul Thomas Anderson, where he can basically film whatever he wants.
I also link him a little bit to Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
So another good director to follow, like Robert Eggers for horror films, is the person who did Beau's Not Afraid, Hereditary,
right,
and the one about the cult,
Ari Aster.
The Midsummer.
Oh, yeah.
Midsummer.
Midsummer's great, and Hereditary's great.
I just looked up Eggers' next film. It's called It's a werewolf film, which he
really?
wrote and directed. It's spelled in the German vernacular, so maybe it's attached to German folklore.
Maybe. I think they, were literally means man. Yeah, it's like man-wolf.
I say we all see that together and have some sauerkraut and some.
There you go.
Some brats.
There you go. Maybe drink a few German beers.
Get away from me, Caleb! I'll show witch thee!
That concludes this episode of A Second Look. We got to thank Bill Dunn. First time joining us for one of these, and I think we'll probably do some more. Is there a movie you would like to talk about?
I would like to talk about eventually, when I see it, is the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, you've told us, is your favorite story of all time.
It's a top 10 novel, not horror, top 10 novel for me. And there's a lot of theological aspects to it. It's so different from the 1930s, which is great. It's a great movie, but it's so shockingly different. Guillermo del Toro says he's going to make it, close to the novel. So I want to see.
Hopefully it'll be better than the Kenneth Branagh version from the 90s.
Right.
Which is terrible.
Who am I?
One of the only movies I've seen where I was like, maybe Robert De Niro isn't a good actor. Because he's terrible in that movie.
Right.
He's usually good.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't grade it. I'm going to say, for me, it's a solid A.
Yes. Well, we graded this in our horror top 10 video. We both give it an A. Not only as a horror film, but as a film in general.
Right.
It's an A.
Yeah. I'd give it an A as well. I think more people should see it going in with different expectations. If they think of it not as a horror movie, they might actually enjoy it more.
Yeah. It's not a jump scare.
Right.
It's got some creepy moments, though.
Right. The disappearance of Samuel, is that a jump scare? Not quite.
Not really. It's just well
sudden.
shot. It's ambiance that creates a sense of dread throughout the entire movie. The cinematography, which is all natural lighting, which is awesome.
Good music.
And the sound design.
Yep. Right.
And that concludes this episode of A Second Look.
Let us know which movies you'd like for us to talk about in the future.
Which? Like the movie name.
Yep.
That's good.
Good night, everyone.
Take care. All right, guys. Good episode. Bill Dunn, thanks for being here. I'm just glad there's no such thing as witches or devils.
Wouldst thou like a taste of butter?
Oh my God. I have high cholesterol, so no.
Oh,
Jesus.
Then wouldst thou like a pretty dress?
I don't wear dresses.
Shit.
Oh my God. I'm so scared.
Let me think about
I'm
this.
so scared.
What's thou like to live deliciously?
Count Chocula? Sign me up!